Hello, hello, hello. It's Truth Talks with Charlie. So excited. Today I am talking with Shandy Love of the Perfect Alignment. Let me put that here. Hey, Heather. Let me put it here. What we doing? Hey, Shandy. I'm gonna add you in a second. Hold on. Truth Talks. I don't know, like, it's sorry, it's taking me a little while to write this. Okay. Okay, let's see. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. Oh, I did something there. Oh, Heather, yeah, I guess I'm learning as I go. You know, that 1-3 line in me is okay with this. So, this is where we at in life right now. But yeah, so this is Truth Talks with Charlie, and Truth Talks with Charlie is basically a exploratory conversation with guests all about their lives. I really just focus on their truths, what their theme is in their lives, or whatever it is they want to talk about. I truly believe that sorry, I'm like reading something as well. I truly believe that each of us is a representation of what's possible. And so through these conversations, my hope is that one, we will realize that, hey, we're in this together for real, for real. And two, we're all doing the best that we can. And three, that there is no limit to what's possible. The only limit is the limits that we put on life. And so much can happen for you if you just open yourself up to it. And so that's what my hope is for these like truth talks. And today we're going to have Shandy Love of the Perfect Alignment, whose theme during the season of her life is showing up for self. And so I'm really excited to hear like what that means, what that looks like, and all the things. Please feel free to put any questions while we're talking in the chat. Last week, what I learned from there is that I can like stop the conversation and ask questions. So, work in progress, people. Thank you for your patience. All right, so I'm gonna bring Shandy on. Hey, Sky. Oh wait, did it work? Oh, it worked. You look so beautiful.
It worked. Thank you. You too.
All right, I'm so excited.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to be
Wait.
here. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm so excited. I didn't even put my earpiece on. I don't really know if I need one, but here we are.
Here we are, girl. We gonna do this. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh my
okay.
God, I feel so good.
All right, so I'm so excited that we have Shandy here. Like I said, this is Truth Talks with Charlie. And basically, these are just exploratory conversations, right? She doesn't know what questions I'm going to ask. Basically, I take what people say and I just ask more questions. This is basically an example of what it looks like to stay curious, right? Like there's no right or wrong here. At least I don't think so. And who the fuck am I to say that somebody's life is right or wrong? I don't know your life. I'm not in your body.
Same.
So Shandy, you can introduce yourself to everyone. Who do you say you are?
That's a beautiful question. That's a beautiful way to put it. Who do I say I am? I am love. I'm of many things. Love, expansion, honesty, truth talks. I love to talk. I love to write. I love to sing in the shower. I love to do me. I love to be happy. I love to spread love. I love to spread information. And these are just accumulation of things that I do as I'm saying who I am. Because literally, I feel so blessed to live a life where it's like I'm able to just do the things that I'm passionate about and able to say that that's who I am. Well, like that to me is freedom, right?
Yeah,
so that's me. I'm free.
Yes.
I'm Shandy Love and I'm free.
Yes. That's like a great introduction. I had this one professor that, like, when we introduced ourselves, we couldn't use our name. Like, she wanted us to truly introduce ourselves as we would if there were no rules to it. And so, like, I will always introduce myself as a magician. Like, hey, I'm a magician. And, like, it was just so
I
cute to,
love
like,
that.
hear what people would actually say, like, if we weren't trying to kind of code switch for the environment.
I love that. I think that's a great concept because, you know, so many people like to put labels. And I'm big on the no label thing. I don't like the labels. I think that's one of the things we talking about the Jill of all trades, mainly because I feel like I can't be defined. I can't be contained and put into that category. I just feel like I do so much and I want to keep exploring other things that I want to do. So it's like, don't categorize me.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense too. I always feel like when it comes to labels, is that for myself and Shandy and I yesterday, which I'm sure will come up again, we were talking about human design. You know, when I check in with all the guests prior to us meeting, I check in 2 days before just to see if there's anything else that you want to talk about that, you know, have happened since I last spoke to you. And one of the things we talked about was human design. I honestly just forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, and it was just, and the idea was like, oh, and I was just saying, like, one of the things is that I have an open G identity center. And so, like, for me, I want to sample all different types of energy. I want to sample different identities. Today I might make candles. Tomorrow I might tell you I don't make candles no more. You know what I mean?
And you can. And you can.
Yeah, and really giving yourself that space, right? Because people would be like, oh, well, you just contradicted yourself because yesterday you was okay with it. I'm like, well, today I'm not. This version of me is not okay with it.
You're able to change your mind. And you're able to, it's like this openness and freedom to be and do what you want in that time. Let's say one day you wake up and you just don't feel called to do something anymore. Not to say you'll never do it again, but just today, I don't feel called to do this thing, and that's okay.
Yeah, and being okay with that. So yeah, I definitely understand the not labels thing, and I think in our society in the United States, that can be pretty hard, pretty challenging because you get pushed back. But so another thing I do, so after you basically introduce yourself, I like to tell people why I invited you. So for the month of July, basically every guest you will see, basically yes, Heather, done with labels, period. So basically during the month of July, what's happening is that I invited every guest you'll see. I personally reached out to them. I told them why I was reaching out to them. And so what I want to do is basically give you all your flowers, right? And basically say, one, thank you for showing up, right? Because it's through your showing up that I was able to recognize you, right? Able to see you, able to invite you in as a projector, right? To this conversation and let you know that you are recognized, right? I do see you. I specifically started following you when you were doing YouTube videos. You used to do interviews and I think drink wine. I don't know, right? Sip and chat. Yes. So I know you from your sip and chat days, okay? And that's when you really caught my attention. And ever since, I've just been following you and just seeing all the things you creating and you're doing. Lately, I'm just a whole different. I don't even know this version of myself. I'm still trying to figure her out. But she's funny. She's funny, and she thinks everything's a joke. Okay, and I love that for her. But like, I just kept every time I would see your post lately, right? Like, probably for the past couple of months though, like I would like just smile and laugh. Like, I love this for you, like, because you feel so much freer, right? Your energy, right? And it could be see how you want with that, but that's how I like see it. I feel like other versions of you are showing up, right? And we get to witness that. And so I invited you here because I see you and I recognize your journey and I recognize that it can be challenging to try different things and do different things, but like you handle it, at least when we see it on Instagram, right? Like not knowing what else you're going through, right? We see, you know, you handling it with grace, right? I think even being able to show up on social media when you're going through shit is something else. So that's a whole other story.
And I'm big on that. So thank you for that. That really, you honestly, as far as human design, you saying you see me, that's like right here as a projector. Just hearing the words, I see you. It's kind of like, you see.
Yeah, and Heather in the comments too. I found out Heather's a projector. I found that out today too. And Heather, I kind of connected with from the last Truth Talks. She was like in the chat or whatever. So, you know, and that's the thing. I hope that Truth Talks really do build community, right? And let people get to see each other. If y'all have similar interests, why not connect? But yeah,
exactly. I love that. I
all
love
the
that for
things.
us.
So yes, yeah. So that was it. So before we get started, I do like a warm up question. It's like the fun question. So for you, is if you were coming out onto a stage, what would be your entrance theme song? And whoever's here, you could also answer that. What would be your entrance theme song if you was coming out on stage?
Why am I thinking about Chris Brown right now?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm thinking about 2012? Risk and love. Coming from I can't remember the name of the song, but it's a song from Chris Brown.
Oh.
I'm always like, here's my thing. Whenever I listen to music, I imagine myself performing because I'm gonna just plug in the astrology real quick. I have a 10th house in Leo, and Leo is all about see me shine.
Yeah.
So that'll be getting to my Leo energy when it comes to that. Per Leo.
Yes.
But,
oh my god.
damn, I can't even think of anything else. I can't even name the song. But
Yeah.
that was a good one. That was a good question.
I thought that would be a good one for you. I was like, oh, that would be interesting to know.
And I love music
song.
so much. I probably will just shout it out randomly one day on my story
and
just
repost it. Yeah, Heather, it's definitely hard. Sky says mine would be Wild Thoughts.
Oh, that is nice. That's a nice one. Oh my god. Oh. Actually, where is my phone? Oh wait, this is my phone right here. I don't want to take it up. There's a song from Chris Brown. I'm not even gonna go into it. I'm gonna just do it after this live and post it.
Okay, let us know.
I know what song it is. Yeah. It's in here.
I think I would do that song. Now I do what I want. Now I do what I want. Yeah, something like that.
Yo, I love that shit. I love music. So thank you for that though.
Yeah. I thought that was a cute one. So okay. So now
this week's theme song, she said, would be Abracadabra by Queen. Well, I never heard that one. I should look at that. So. I like new music plugs.
I don't know because I do listen to Queen Herbie. Some of they songs, I don't know their pronouns, but yeah. So maybe I have heard it.
I never heard of her.
They be doing it on their story. They're doing little videos on their story.
Yeah.
Not little videos, doing videos on their stories.
That's so badass.
Yeah. So I have to see. All right. So as I said, like you can ask any questions while we're talking and I will come back to them. So let's get into it. So your theme for this season or maybe the rest of your life, we don't know, is showing up for self. Now, what does that mean, feel, or look like for you?
Taking the lead in my life and holding space for me in many forms. That will be, all right, so I'm gonna go back a little bit. There was a time where I did not know how to show up for self. I was so dependent on everything outside myself to do that work for me. And I realized by doing that, why I shouldn't do it. I was saying like life lessons, life taught me why I should be the one, because at the end of the day, I wanted to know who I am so much that any little thing that I felt like I was sad or something, I could be the one to because not everybody's going to be there for you when you need them. And it's okay because everybody's going through their own stuff, dealing with what they got to do it. And I grew up without the support too much. And that kind of made me at first reach out to other people for that support. And I said, you know what? Maybe my life lesson is to learn how to show up for self. And honestly, I discovered that it is. My life lesson is provide your own stability. Love yourself. Be your own leader. You have the answer. Because I feel like every time I tried to seek outside myself, I always hit a wall. Or I end up getting hurt. Or I end up... And I literally did not learn the lesson until early this year. Literally. I found myself like gradually climb up. Like you can feel it when you're going through life lessons and you're growing and you're changing and stuff like that. But you didn't really reach that point of realization yet. I reached that point early this year, and I said it became like it was a few aha moments. It was a few looking back in the past and kind of a little sad about it, but also giving myself grace because I did not know. At the time, I didn't understand. I only did the best I could do with what I knew about survival.
Yeah. You know what's interesting too? Before this, I did a meditation, and the message in there was that once you have the awareness, you have choice.
Woo!
And that's kind of what you're talking about right now. Literally, that's what the
I
meditation was. Like,
love
once you
that.
have awareness, you have choice. Right? You can't do anything when you don't know, right? But
And I
once
love
you have that
choices.
awareness,
Yes.
and that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I love choices. I don't know if you want to look at what she said.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But you know what? I'm going to counteract on that. It took relationships too, like friendships, family, intimate relationships, for me to learn more about myself, because I was able to use these relationships as a mirror to me. Anything that they showed, I kind of like asked myself, like, okay, what is it about me that, you know, like, what is it that, why did I even attract this in the first place? What am I looking for? You know, it gave me certain things that I needed. So I have no regrets at all, because I am who I am today with this much wisdom, this much strength, this much confidence, because of where I came from. And it's so interesting how that happens. And you asked me how, in what ways do I show up for self, right? I want to finish that.
Yeah. Like what that, because like, you know, we all have these different concepts, whether that's self-care, self-love, right? All these concepts, right, that kind of get tossed around. And I feel like, but what does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? When you tell me, like, I'm showing up for self, like, you know, if you could paint us a picture of like what it feels like or what it looks like you were doing already. You was already doing it.
I just want to make sure because I know I have some more to say, but it might come out again throughout the conversation, because it's the theme of the conversation. But I wanted to also ask you, when did I come up with this topic, or you did? Because honestly, this is so ironic.
No, you came up with.
I don't know
if I wrote it. You might have wrote something about it, and then I like just changed a word or two. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Because honestly, I'm like, wait, if I could recall, because it's such a big theme for me. And when you said if it's gonna be I wrote it. I wrote it. It's a big theme for me. And you said something about like probably gonna be a lifetime. It's gonna be a lifetime. I told myself this is a lifestyle. You know, this is something that I will. This is me. This is my life now, and it feels good. It feels good to show up, and showing up looks like, even when the days, even when it's not even too pretty and it's not too nice, like you're feeling kind of down and stuff, still showing up. I like to do this thing where I just give myself a hug. Like I just give. I embrace myself and I give myself a hug. Oh, I talk to my inner child. I do like little taps and stuff, because especially I made it a habit now. And in the beginning, it was more like, let me hold you, let me talk to you, and this is me talking to my inner self. And then it becomes such a habit to the point I do it without even thinking. Like if I'm feeling something that's off, or if I'm feeling a certain way and I don't like the feeling, because one thing about me, I love feeling good. I don't like but I also know when I'm not feeling my best, it's always a lesson for me to learn. So I'm open to it. So like, I always, in the moment, like, I'd be like, okay, it's okay. Just go relax. Go sit down. Like, I talk to myself like the parent that I always wanted, like the partner I always wanted, like the best friend I always wanted. And that changed my life.
Yes.
That changed my life.
That's how
Thank you, Scott.
I feel. I want to read Heather comments out loud real quick. Yes, it's true. We have to find our own well. We have to, find our own well within ourselves. And it's hard to not look outside for that. The only way to transform old behaviors in relationship with others. You know what, Heather? I totally agree with that, because I feel like it's one thing to be like, I'm this changed person, I'm this, I'm that, I'm working on my anger. But then when you get around humans, right? The little triggers, hey, start showing up.
That's where the real test is at.
I thought I was fastest, right? And so I definitely agree. I know for sure relationships are a big part of my soul's journey. Started from childhood, right? Like I grew up in foster care, moving on, right? So I learned at a very young age this idea of trusting people, right? This idea of parents are always going to be there for you, right? Like there was just so many things that the world was saying that my world was contradicting, that my world was like, that can't be true. There's no way that's true, right? Because I was living a different example of what they were, the opposing side of what people were telling me how life had to be. And so, like, very at an early age, I was already not with this shit. I was like, something ain't adding up.
You knew.
This ain't adding up, y'all. And so, yeah, I think that the journey is definitely, like, people will definitely help
Bring it into practice.
And that's the interesting thing. Let's talk about the balance of it, right? Because when you say showing up for self, you don't want to cut off the access to the other people, because we need people. We need community, right? You want to create this balance where you feel safe within yourself to hold your own, but also open that door for whoever is around you to come love on you. You know?
Yeah.
And I at one point I felt like I just needed time to myself, because there was times when I just said I just need my energy. You know, I need to breathe in my energy and then take my energy in, but it wasn't on some I want to shut the door to everybody. It was just I need this moment. I need this time to myself. And then when I'm ready, I come back out and like, we
Yeah.
good.
Wait, so not wait, but you said that earlier this year it kind of like clicked for you when you were like, I have to find security. What I call it security within self. Like it's something I believe in.
I learned this late 2021, like around October, November was when I had like a Kundalini awakening. It was crazy. It was a beautiful experience. But then I think I was really getting the test early this year. And that's when I said, you know what clicked for me? It was more like, Shandy, you're literally the creator of your own universe. Get like actually believe that shit, because it's true, you know? And that's when I said, okay, let me just act like I know. Let me stop playing around, you know? It was so I took it serious. I took it more serious. Yeah.
So when you say, let me act like I know, what is something that was like, so like, I need to change, this has to stop now, or this boundary needs to be in place now? Like, was there anything that you knew right away was your first step? Like, this.
I have this tattoo right here. It's called Believe. It was that. My lack of belief and faith. It was number one, because I always knew it was the mind. It was the mind creates everything. You know, it starts there, right? And it connects to your heart space. It connects everything else. But it was just like, what do I really believe about myself? And why do I believe that about myself? So what am I restricting because of my belief? So it was these questions, and it was also these truths. Because, you know, once you ask, you receive the answer. So these questions kept popping up. I did my little journaling, prayed, talked to God, and the answers came in. Oh, Shandy, there's many times where you did like kind of like ignored your own true feelings because you wanted to create space for other people. And you also, you know, you didn't like to say no to people. And you also went towards people for safety instead of choosing it. It is true. And I had to take that for what it is and be honest with myself. And that's a part of showing up for self too, is to be honest with yourself, to be like, maybe I'm not doing my best. Like, ouch, that hurts, but it's true.
Yeah. But I don't, I guess I'm curious about that. Like, what's the idea of like, do the best according to what you knew at the time, right?
Yeah, to me, yeah.
Right, okay.
It was more so, because there was points when I knew that I should be doing something, like, better, but it was like, I let fear, and I was aware that fear was taking that was winning. So it was kind of like, all right, Shandy, this is boring now. You've been doing this all these years. You've been thinking this way all these. Let's try a different route. How about you have more faith and confidence in yourself? How about you actually, you know, and you know, I'm saying this thing like it's so easy, but it took a lot of practice and repetition, a lot of affirmations, a lot of going within, a lot of crying, a lot of shadow work to actually feel it and believe it. Because it's one thing to say it, but you have to actually feel it.
Yeah. So I was curious about I was curious about that. Like, did you experience any resistance? Because I feel like when you're going through something like this, where, you know, you have had these beliefs probably like almost all your life, right? Like, they're so deeply instilled in you. So I feel like because you had already, because I kind of feel like because you already knew that there was something more, or that, like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Like,
it kind of changes how the resistance feels, I feel like, but I'm not sure. But anywho, like, what does your resistance look like?
I call it going up the ladder a lot, because I do believe it's levels. I feel like we shouldn't rush the process ahead of time. So it was like, even when I knew when I wasn't ready, and I was like, it's fine with not being ready. But then there was a time when I was also aware that maybe I wasn't, you know how sometimes you get too comfortable with where certain things is, and you just feel like maybe if you just try, if you push yourself up a little bit more, it's like you get to the point where you open this new world just starts for you, and it's like you get access to these new informations and new connections. It was something like that. It was more like I was ready for my new beginning. And even when I was still scared, I was honest with myself about being afraid. And by being afraid, I mean like showing up for self. How would this look to others? I kept thinking about that. You know, I was going through that process of caring what people think about me.
I was gonna ask you too, like, what are some of the fears? Like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Afraid of my own power and my own voice. It was a time when I just, yeah, it's so crazy because I've been doing YouTube and talking to the camera for so many years, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, as soon as I come on the camera, I like, you know, I go through the nervous process. Everybody go through the nervousness and everything. It's like the ego comes in and takes over, and I'm like, fine. And then I'm still nervous though, but I'm fine because I'm on camera, lights, camera, action. That's how I feel, right? But now it's more different. It's more like I literally don't feel the nervousness anymore. I don't feel nervous. I don't feel that.
That's interesting because I feel that way about doing this.
You do?
Like, yeah, like I don't get nervous. But I used to get nervous coming on Instagram. I guess I was preparing to. I think I was doing too much.
Yeah.
It was like anytime you're doing too fucking much. Now you're performing. We ain't got time for that, right? So it is
good.
But like now, it's like, oh, I'm just showing up. Like clearly, I put questions together, but that's it. But I definitely feel you when you're talking about like the nerves kind of like leave, and you're like,
yes. You know, I realized once you keep just doing it, it's like I call it like the best way to beat fear is action. You have to look the fear in the face. Be like, I'm gonna beat your ass up. Like you just look the fear in its face and you just do what you're afraid to do, and that's literally the answer. That's literally the key. And I had to do that.
Because one of the things you mentioned, like you were scared, you were afraid or nervous about like what other people would say. Do you feel like those fears you had were warranted? Do you feel like when you did start showing up and everything else, that the response you got, did it make you feel some sort of way, or you know?
It's so interesting because I already know myself, like within the reason why I was scared in the first place is because I knew that the way I thought, the way I communicate was different from everybody else, like different from a vast amount of people. And it's kind of like I have a Libra moon, so I'm kind of like my Libra energy is it's like I just want to be at peace with everybody. I don't want to have I don't want to argue. I don't want to. It's like that, but like thinking that way kind of like restricted me in a way because it kind of made me feel like I could not speak my whole truth because I'm like, damn, if I say something that kind of triggers somebody or how would they like it, I had to stop that. But the reaction once I started being more vocal, started putting more stuff out, I realized it didn't matter what anybody think because I was attracting people that I wanted to attract anyways. My community understands me. They see me. They love me. So why not? Why not? And if somebody can't receive it, then it's just that it wasn't for them. And that's not my business. So I had to do that. Well, yes,
I love that we minded our
Libra
business.
too.
Yes, Guy is a Libra sun. So
She felt that.
Yes. That is like,
It was like that. It was like, and I realized how much that was holding me back. And the minute I stopped, I felt so free. I felt like, I do believe like delivery though, the way you deliver stuff does matter. You know, I'm really big on that. And it's not even just, I don't be thinking about how people feel about the way I deliver. I am big on that because I want to make sure that I'm saying things that, you know, like, I'm big on delivery.
Absolutely. So. And I love that you just said that because what you were just saying about like these are my rules for myself. I'm not worried about like how you communicate, but for me, like I'm big on my, you know, the way I deliver to others. And I definitely feel that. That's how I feel about a lot of this stuff. Like I'm not worried about what y'all doing, but these are my rules that I'm gonna follow. This is my integrity. These are my morals. You know, these are my beliefs. You know, and you do want to, I guess, like especially when you're on a public platform, I guess work with intention, whatever that is, right? Like I want to intentionally be of love. I want to communicate this gently, but
right.
You know
what I realized too, no matter how you deliver it, I mean, because that's what I'm saying, is as it has to just matter to you. Because honestly, as you follow your direction, you're gonna always go where you're meant to go, right? That's you. But I also realized no matter how you deliver it, the other person will perceive it their own way because of how they see or how they probably saw you already, and you know, trying to figure you out. So that's what I'm saying. I'm big on just how I feel about my jewelry, because at the end of the day, I can't help it. I can't. Right.
Yeah. I used to watch. This is so random. Bad Girls Club. When the coach was on there, that's something like she would teach the girls, like, you know, you want to be who said you can learn that from Bad Girls Club? You want to be the decider of whether or not you are right or wrong, correct or not correct. Like, you want to be the one deciding that for yourself. Like, the outside world can't decide that. Like, you need to decide that first for yourself. And that's something that I really took with me, and I was like, that is so true. Like, I need to decide for myself. Because there's be times where people will try to call me in and like say whatever, right? But their idea of it is just like, yeah, that's your perspective, and that you could be right too, but that doesn't change that, you know, I did what was best for me at that moment.
You could be right too. It's okay. It's so interesting you said that. Recently I started collaborating with my friend. What he does is he does like he makes like his think pieces on certain things that happen in the media, and he brought me on his platform to like do my part. And I realized so far with doing that is like, I have my own way of thinking about shit, and you have your own way of thinking about shit. It don't make none of us right or wrong. Like, it's just the way we see it. And I love that. I don't need you to agree with me. I don't need you to agree with me. And I think that's where people kind of get kind of stuck. They're looking for people to agree. And kind of like the world is so big and different and colorful. It's like, why do you want everybody to be the same? Like, why do we need people to just, we don't need that, you know? And that's why I welcome different perspectives, different thoughts. And
so have you always been this way? I just feel like growing up in like, you're in New York too. Growing up in New York, like, depending on where you grew up, like, you know what I mean? Like, it can be a rough world out here when you're trying to have your own voice, right? And I think that New York is very, like, it's a melting pot, for sure. But I don't think that we were really taught to, like, be comfortable with the differences of opinions and to share them loudly. Like, I feel like a lot of the younger generation is just doing more now than ever before. Like, I never remember this. Yeah, so I guess I'm curious about, like, you know, have you always been this okay with the world being this way, right? Like, everybody have your opinion, do what you want. Like,
I think I grew into it. I think at first I was so caught up in trying to find out what was my truth, you know, what was it for me, what was my perspective. And I learned through other people. When I see how they think, I would, instead of judging them, I would just take it in and see if I resonate. If I don't resonate, all right. But it's like, I was not as vocal growing up because I was always shy and kind of nervous and scared. I was always the one that in the classroom, if the children are reading, you would have to call me to read. I will never raise my hand. It was like that, you know? And so it's interesting how I'm just like purposely taking the camera up and talking to it nowadays. See how life is? Yeah. But I had to grow into that more because I understand the importance of having your own voice. I understood it because I experienced how it felt to feel like your opinion didn't matter. I experienced that in my household growing up, where it felt like I grew up in a Jamaican household, and Jamaican people, especially the parents, they feel like because you're at a young age, it doesn't matter, you know, because you're young and you don't know much. You don't know much. You know, that's not foregone. But I realized children are very smart, and shit, they're the closest to spirit in a way. So they know. They don't sleep on them. So I grew up experiencing that, and I realized that's not what I want for myself. That's not what I want for the people I love. I love to have that space. I think that's why I started doing those videos, those interview videos, like the Sip and Chat. That was really what it was. It was like holding space for people to just share their stories and have like, I want to learn. I love storytelling. I love to listen to storytellings. I love it because it's just like, we all have our own independent stories. We all came from different places, and how we start out, how we learn this and that. And I just love that. I love to
Yeah,
hear
me too.
different
I
parts,
love
you know?
knowing why people are like,
Yes.
honestly, like earlier today when we like started talking more about human design, like I told you, I was like, yo, I feel like I know you. Like I feel like it opened up a whole different world. Like I'm like, oh, I know you. I know your energy. Cool.
Yes.
Like that's it. Like so it's just like really interesting the whole journey. But I was curious about something you said earlier. You had mentioned that you know, you would listen to people's perspectives and then you would take it in and see if it resonated with you. What did that look like? Because I
Woo!
actually have a
I do
process
it now too.
for
I do it
doing
now.
stuff like that. So what did that look like for you?
I can explain what it looks like to me now versus back then. Because back then I was unconscious. I didn't even know I was doing it. It wasn't until I got aware.
I need to see your centers, which ones are open, because I have the same thing, but I think it happens through my G center. But go ahead.
Okay, you gotta let me know too, girl, because you know.
Yeah.
But now what it looks like is just listening with just the intention to listen, not to respond. Like I'm really listening to you. I'm taking in what you're saying. I'm listening to you. And instead of emotionally getting invested in what you're saying, it's just like, okay, I hear you. I don't have to agree with you, but I hear you. And I let them know that too. I literally let them know, like, okay, and I let them know my part. And sometimes as a projector, I'm gonna bring that in there too. I know when not to do it. I could feel it. I could feel when not to. I know when not to say something because I know it's not necessarily, not because I care how the response is, because I just know it's not called for. You'll come to me when you're ready to hear my point of view. So it was like a balance with that. But I always know when to like speak up about it and say what my point of view is versus them. But I also tell them I respect that. Like I respect. It's so crazy. I feel like I don't argue with people anymore. I literally don't have arguments. I don't feel like, what's the point? Because especially when I'm talking to people and I could see that how they perceive things is very different. I don't judge them, but I also say to myself, literally they won't get what I'm trying to say because they're on a different kind of frequency than I am on. So they're not gonna get it. And instead of like, it doesn't stop me from saying it, but I just know when to say okay.
Yeah.
Back. I know when to say all right. Is that?
Yeah. I was gonna ask you that next. Like, do you just still say it? Because like, right,
I know.
I know when to stop it. Sometimes it still needs to, you know.
Yeah, because you never know what you'll spark, though. That's the thing. You never know. You never know. You may spark something, and then they probably finish talking to you, go sit down for a little bit by themselves, and then they be like, "Oh shit, she just said some next shit. Let me look up on Google. Let me, you know." And I love that shit. Come back to me and tell me what you
listen, you might be planting a seed, watering a seed, or harvesting, baby. Whatever it is, like you gotta trust that it's gonna do what it's gonna do, right? What it's meant to do, and like let it go after that. So yeah, I could definitely resonate with like that idea of like it's just we're all on our path looking different. That looks different. So you've been on your journey, like I know you read a lot, you study a lot, and all those things. Like, how do you like filter out the noise? Right? There's so much information, especially in the spiritual world, especially with social media available now. Like, how do you filter out the noise?
I have this brain of mine, right? It's such a strategic brain. Like, I have the ability to tune things out so easily. Like, it's like, and I know when I'm overstimulated. So I know when enough is enough. I know when I don't need to read too much. I know when I need to just sit down, sit still, and just journal, put my thoughts on paper. I even know when I need to stop doing that and do something else. So it's kind of like I go with the vibes. I go with how I feel. Like these days, more than anything, I'm going based on how I feel because that shit feels good. That shit feels good to just do what I feel, to do. And instead of being too logic based about it and being too like I need to do this. I've been just doing what I feel. Like if I feel like taking a nap right now, I'm taking a nap. Yeah. It's like that, If I feel like coming off of social media in the middle of the, like, let's say, because I've been doing a lot of like collaboration with brands and stuff. Like if I say I need a break from social media in the middle of this, I'm taking a break because I feel like doing that. So it's just like listening to self and not being too hard on yourself to get, because you're not going to get everything. You're not going to get, that's a lot. It's very complex. The spirituality, the lessons, the research, it's a lot of information, but I also enjoy it. So it's such a blessing because I literally enjoy 12 o'clock in the morning going on Google if I can't sleep and looking some shit up that I've been meaning to search. That shit brings me joy. And then you know what? I also love sharing that shit. Like I love it. So it also depends on what you love to do. Because if you don't like to do it, it's kind of like it becomes a burden. It becomes, damn, you know. But even if you like to do it, I do realize it could become a burden if you put too much on yourself. You gotta balance. You gotta like.
I think that's what everything in life, right?
Everything.
Like anything of too much of anything can be detrimental. So I always that's a rule for everything in my world, right? Like too much of anything in my world is ugh, right? I want to harmonize. I want everything to be in harmony. Okay.
And I get bored fast, so I get bored real fast. So I'm like, okay, the next thing.
Yeah. Heart connected healing said yes, it's a lot to process, and I agree too, because it's not just happening like on a physical level. It's happening energetically. And in all these different ways in these different realms, like who the hell knows, right? And it's a lot to process. Sometimes you don't realize why you need more sleep than other times, right? And it's just like, so when it comes to like listening to self, have that always been easy for you? Have you always had, because you're a splenic projector, right? Splenic.
I think it is splenic, yeah. And I do have moments where I feel like burnt out a bit, so I also learn my body and learn when not to do too much, especially based off of like my schedule nowadays, knowing when I'm kind of like overstimulating myself, overdoing. I know I'm working with that. I'm working with my body and knowing what it likes and what it don't like, you know. So go back to the question again, because this is another.
Sorry, I just seen splenic projector here.
Yes,
like,
I think I
but yeah, I was asking you, have you always trusted yourself, right? Like, because I feel like that's a big part of everything you're doing. I mean, not trusting yourself. Have you always listened to self? Like, have you always had that connection to connecting with yourself, listening to yourself? Because everything you're talking about requires awareness.
It does.
It does. Let's just
and
say
it's so
what it is.
Yeah, it does. I feel like that's why I'm able to do the work now, because I'm more aware. Before, I wasn't. I was like, I remember when I first woke up. That experience, and when I say woke up, it was when I realized the world for what it was, and I realized my power in this world and who I was. And it was as if I was coming out of a certain world into a new one. It's like I saw myself, the past me, the unaware me, leaving, but I also embraced her. I embraced her, because it's just like, damn, thank you for getting me here. Now you gotta go. So it's like I wasn't always able to trust myself because I wasn't aware, and that was the reason why I didn't trust myself. It was just like I was so afraid. I was so in my head. I had the blindfolds on. I couldn't see the truth. I couldn't see what was going on, and it kind of got me to a place where it got me here. Me not knowing shit, it got me to the point of realization, and I'm forever thankful. I'm forever thankful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Oh, I love that for you. Hi, love. Yeah, that's so exciting, because that's the thing, right? I feel like I said earlier, it's true. Like once you have awareness, you have choice, and what you're talking about is all about like becoming aware of the choices you have, right? Once you recognize, one, I'm not who I say I am, right? Like, so who am I really, or how do I want to express myself out in this world? And giving yourself space for that, and then creating your own reality, because
isn't it fun?
Another thing, at least I believe that everybody's creating their own reality, and I'm here for it. Okay,
it's so much fun, and I love playing games. So I literally said, "Oh, it's a video game. I bet. Let me."
And is that how
down everything?
Oh, is that how you're navigating it?
I'm a writer. I write down everything. Like I literally have a journal from 5 years ago. I sat down and I wrote down literally my whole life. And I asked myself questions. Because one thing I do is I channel through writing. So I asked myself the questions, I answer them. Like one of my questions was, what makes you happy? Because that was when I was discovering more, defining more of who I am, what my purpose is, what I'm came here to do. And everything that I said, I'm literally doing it right now. I'm literally doing
you wrote it.
Write it
down and make it plain. Write it down and make it plain.
Come on.
It's what happened. Write it down and
make it plain. The power of writing stuff down.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you something about your channeling.
I channel through writing. I channel through music. That's one thing. Water too. When I go by the water, it's crazy.
And have you always trusted the messages you got? Because I'm very big on self-trust, right? Like, I feel like everything you're talking about requires this level of trust with yourself or create a relationship. It seems like everyone I've been talking to that I've had these talks with, right, whether before or right now, it's like, you know, all this requires some level of self-trust because like you don't know how nothing you're about to do is going to turn out, but you're having faith that it will.
You know what I did? I turned it into a game. I did, because at one point that was my way of trusting myself. That was my way of getting myself used to trusting self, because there was a point where I trusted everybody outside of myself. Anything, and that's so dangerous. It's so dangerous because it's kind of like you're taking the power out of yourself and giving it to somebody else to tell you how to live your life, how you should, what road you should walk. I always love to do what I'm doing right now, right? But it was more so I wasn't doing it out loud because I was scared about the look, or scared about if I'm doing it right, if I'm doing it was always these thoughts, just me, human shit. I like to call it human shit, because it's like the human mind will have you in there just nitpicking every little small detail. You know, every little small thing. I'm not doing that no more. It's like now I'm living out loud. Now I'm just like I'm unapologetically myself. Like I don't care to not be I'm myself. And it started with a game. So I kind of knew, when I say game, it's like I literally purposely said I knew I did not trust myself, but I knew that I wanted to get in the direction of trusting myself. So I was doing things. To earn my self-trust. Oh, thank you. And yes, the water. Yes, the water is very important, especially showers, bath, and all that stuff. Rivers, lakes.
But I know her name is Tori. I've got her deck right here. I'm like, why am I tripping? Why am I calling her by her tag? Sorry. All right.
No, it's fine. I created a game. So the game was basically me with the awareness now, because before it was more like I was walking down the path, because you're gonna always go where you need to go, right? Unconscious or not. But I was walking down the path with awareness now, and I said to myself, I know what I need to work on. So guess what? I'm going to do things to get myself to trust myself. So do everything I'm afraid to do. You're afraid to go on a platform and speak? Go ahead. Oh, you're afraid to post this video? I'll take myself out of hand. Go ahead and post that. It's like that. It's kind of tough, but it's like it's very self.
I call it exposure. I do my own exposure therapy is what I call it. It's like exposure therapy. It's like because that's what like if you were going to therapy, like to get you out of your fears, they usually will help you do like exposure techniques. So
that's
so
nice.
I gotta do that on myself.
Nice. Why I didn't know? See, the more you know,
you're doing. You just expose yourself to the things you fear, and it helps you get over it because you're realizing
it helps me get over it. I wish I knew this.
And the more you do that, the more you're gonna take risks.
And now I'm just like a big risk taker. Like I want to do it all.
Yeah, and you're also like a 3-5, right? A 5-3-5.
3-5.
Right? Yeah.
So I read a little bit about it. The 3 you said was subconscious. You didn't really know, but the 5 was more like. Well, which one you didn't really know? You said 3-5.
I didn't know 5. I didn't know
it was 5, right?
Yeah. But it's definitely in harmony with that 3 when I read about it, and it talks about like people projecting onto you, right? Like, and it probably happened like probably younger years if it resonates, like people projecting about who you are and you kind of taking that in as your truth. Like that's something to watch out for.
Oh yes. Whoosh. The undoing from that was tough, but I'm happy. Yeah, it was. I know exactly what you're talking about. And because I lacked the faith in myself, it was easy for me to be a sponge basically, and soak in everything they was telling me.
You know what? Earlier, this is what I love about conversations like this, and I think it's important to stay curious, because earlier I was asking you a question about how you filter information, right, when people were talking, and what you were answering to is about like when beliefs are different, right? But actually what I was getting to, and I was asking, right, in my mind, is basically and it was like I could have whatever. But basically what I was asking you is like what happens when like you get all this info, like if you ever get information and you test it, right? Like, so say for instance you say something that not necessarily is my truth, you'll be like, I can't think of anything right now. So say for instance when I started doing tarot cards, right, and people give you all these things you have to do, right?
Oh,
All the
gosh.
things you have to do. The secret is you got to do a bowl of water no sugar. And I'm
No.
not saying it's wrong. And I'm not saying it's wrong, right? Like, I'm not saying
For
that.
me, yeah.
But if I go through the process, right, the way you gave it to me, and I do it your way, right, and then I do it my way, right, without all that stuff, and I feel like my way is just as helpful
That's
as
me.
your way.
That's
I'm
me.
not doing your way ever again, right? I'm only doing. So I'm a person that I will try out what you're recommending, right? I will try it. But
Same,
like, I will then go and do it my way. So I guess I was curious for you, like, do you ever feel like, you know, not now, I think it's more so younger, like when people say things or tell you something, you take it in as truth right away, or do you like test it and play with it and then be like, all right,
It's
not
so
as
interesting.
it might be your truth but not my truth, right?
It's interesting because going back, I know where I'm at right now. Like I'm basically what you just said. Like I'll like test it out, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll like take it in. Like if you tell me something, I'll see if it resonates with me, and if I want to do it, I'll do it. If I don't, I don't. I'll just find my own way and create it, right? Create my own way. But back then, it was more like it was like based off, it was subjective to like what it was, because there are certain things that I would like, if I didn't feel secure about it, I will go to what the person is saying. But if I was just like on the fence of like just like not, like I was more like, I don't want to listen to this, I won't listen to it. So it was like a balance between that. It was just like, because I was kind of stubborn as well. I was very stubborn. Still got a little stubborn tendencies in a way, but it's like not as bad as it was. But like, I was really stubborn, okay? And
The spectrum.
what? I don't know. I think that's the Aries. That gotta be the Aries, because I was just so like, it's my world, I'm creating it. But it was also like, it depends on how secure I felt about the subject. Like if I didn't feel safe with my way of doing it, I would definitely take your way. But I can't recall if there was a time where I just said, this is not working for me, let me try something else. I can't remember. Maybe I did that, but it doesn't ring a bell. I just feel like now I'm the type of person where I'm really big on just how I feel about the thing versus what you're telling me to do. Is how I feel about it, you know?
Yeah, I'm a feelings person too. That's how I live this life. I'm just like, it doesn't feel good, I'm not doing it. Oh, it feels okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't feel like eating that. I don't feel like doing that.
I feel like with feeling, that's spirit talking to you. So that's your high self talking to you. So it's kind of like you want to listen to it. You want to, you know, even if it, let's say it brings you a place where you don't really care for, like the outcome, you don't really fancy it, there's still a reason why it brought you there. Yeah. So take it in.
So how do you deal with, all right, first of all, what you're talking about, what you just mentioned was like kind of about expectations, right? It didn't end the way you thought it would. So
yes.
With things like that, right? Because you're talking about like a showing up for self season or a lifestyle, right? And like just living, right? And living in a new way, because right, I want to take naps when I want to take naps. I want to paint when I want to paint. I want to do this when I want to do this. And every time we make a choice, we're letting something else go, right? And whatever that something else is. So yeah, like whatever that something else is. So it's so funny how my questions leave my mind, because this is a written down. It was a question.
Trying to say the outcome, like how do I deal with the
how do you deal with the outcome?
You know what's so crazy? That was recent. That was my recent test. That was my recent test, and I feel like I passed it because I'm here today, just chilling. You know,
hello.
Chilling. If I didn't pass it, I wouldn't be here.
I like that perspective. I like that perspective, though. All right, wait. Tell me about it. Go ahead.
Remember I told you I'm stubborn, right? So it's kind of like when you're big, my test was basically saying to be more fluid. Like, you may know where you're going, but you don't know how. You don't know everything. And it's like I've reached a place where I don't want to know everything, because I want to be surprised. I want the universe to surprise me. I actually enjoy this shit. Like, I'm having fun discovering what's going to happen, right? So there was a point where I got so stuck on something. I was so sure it's going to come out the way I want it to be. And the thing failed in a way. The way I perceived it to be, it failed, right? And and I had my little moment where I was pissed off. The ego part of me was just like, fuck, I cried it out. I felt my feels, but I was like, oh, fuck this shit. I'm a way to work, to get another solution. I'm very solution based. Like, my whole thing is, I'm gonna cry about it. Let me cry, but we're gonna find a way to just get over this shit and go find another solution. That's literally what I did. And I'm very proud of myself because I actually was in a space where I witnessed myself doing it. I was aware. You know, I'm very aware now. So I'm aware when I'm living in my ego. I'm so aware that I know when I am not in alignment with where I need to go. So I could call myself back and go keep on going. So now it's more like, if something doesn't come out the way that I expected it to be, I'm taking that as it wasn't meant to be that way, or maybe there is something I probably missed. Let me try again in a different way. Let me get creative, because that's what life is all about. Let's have fun with this shit. Maybe I need to take a break. Maybe I need to actually, maybe God is telling me to sit down for a second, step back, look at the big picture. So there's always some reason. So I take it with grace.
Question. There's always some reason. Do you feel a need to always find the solution or the reason for that? Do you need to find the reason for that thing?
Oh, I'm always curious, but I don't let it get to the point of being so like in it that I miss things, or like I get so stuck on that. But I do have a tendency of just being like, I want to know, or like creating the solution. Like, I'm very like, let me, you know. And I also know nowadays when to step back and allow the universe to do its thing, because I also know when you're doing this too much, that's a form of like resisting too. Like, you're not allowing things to come to you or things to pan out the way you need to pan out. So it's a balance thing again. That's basically what it's about. That's what life is about.
It really, I guess I was just curious. I was like, I feel like I used to like want to know, like, I don't know. That might have, you know what? Resistance, kind of what you was talking about earlier. I feel it. I literally feel it I can feel it in my chest when it happens. So that's exactly how it feels to me. Like I'm trying to like push a wall that I can't move. Like, it's fucking stupid. And then I become aware, like, girl, just let it go. And that's literally when I let go, and like that tense energy kind of leaves and let go. So like, that's why I asked about the whole, like, whether or not you eventually, like, if you don't find the reason, if you can let it go and let it come to you later.
I let it go. I'm able to. It probably takes a little bit longer for me because I'm just like, I just love creating, and I create in different forms. I like receiving ideas. I like the thinking part of it. I like the planning part. I like the visualization. I love the imagination. I love every part of it. So I get sometimes I do get so wrapped up into the process that I do have to remind myself, okay, sis, right, just let it sit. Let it sit.
I have to be
honest and say that's something I'm still working on, but you know,
listen. It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. And I think that for me, that's what makes it fun. Like, the fact that there's like no perfection, and I get to laugh at myself a lot, you know, and laugh at other people too. I'm like, oh shit, that happened to you. And I'm happy to have a lot of people around me who laugh at themselves, right? Because we get to just enjoy our human experience, the highs and lows.
And
love
like,
that. Even as I listen to you, I hear your excitement. So I'm asking you, do you feel like you have fun in life? Are you enjoying your life?
I'm having, the minute I decided to let go of the false beliefs that I had before, life became this vibrant, like, there are times when there are like down times when it's like I'm not doing much, I'm just relaxing. I have fun doing that too. So I take every moment in for what it is, because I understand the ebbs and flows to a T. I understand. I welcome it, because when the ebbs come, all right, I'm here. Let me see what I could, you know, if maybe I need to just go take a bath or take a walk or call a friend. Maybe I need a journal or just sit still and talk to God. And I allow that moment to be what it is. And then when the flow comes, I'm thriving in the flow, because, hey, I just, you know, these moments, they come and they go. So I'm having fun. I'm having fun creating a life, the life of my dreams, basically.
Is there anything else you feel like, I don't even know about anything else, But talking about creating the life of your dreams, we've been on for like an hour and we have not talked about astrology or anything else that has like helped your journey. So can I hear about like what resources would you say supported you during your transition? Because you had your big awakening, like your big aha, and then it's been a journey since. So like, what are some of the resources that helped you to get to this place of happiness, right? Get to this place of joy, get to this place of openness for life and being open to receive, and also surrender, right? You're talking about a lot of different levels here, including awareness, which I think is like the beginning of it all. So what do you think what were some of your resources that is helping you on your path? Because I do believe each of us have a different path, right? Whether or not you're religious, whether you believe that, you just worship the earth, whatever your beliefs are, it's still a path, right? Like,
right. Everybody has their own way. So I always knew in the beginning, like even from the beginning, writing. I have about 12 journals. Like I write, like if I don't write in like 2 days, I feel off. Like I big on writing and journaling, big on affirmations and praying and saging. I have spiritual advisors, 2 of them that has been really helping me for the past 2-3 years that I have faith and trust in. Supportive friends, even the community that I've been building, just talking to people and seeing that I wasn't alone is helping me. That's a big resource, like what I do is a big resource to my healing. Like me sharing stuff heals me in return because it makes me feel good. I love that. I love when I share something that someone needed, and astrology, of course. Astrology was the main, because I'm very curious, like you said. Like I'm so curious about why things are the way they are, or how things come about, like my past life and like my destiny. So astrology really big. A lot of research. Anytime I have a question, I just Google. I just Google, or I go look up some books. So a lot of reading. Like it's a bunch of things that just kept me in a space of groundedness, and I just go based off how I feel. Like I'm not really looking at astrology every day, because I was
curious about that. If you like watch the transitions, and that's a big call, right?
Not every day. I used to do it every day, but these days, since I've been a bit more busy, I have like probably like once or twice a week, because I'm able to look at the transits and see, okay, Mars is in Taurus for another 3 weeks. I already know the energy for that, and I go read my horoscopes, but I'm more listening to my own downloads now. So it's me. It's me.
That's how I feel.
It's me. So I don't really need resources as much as I did before. It's kind of like God said, okay, you can fly now. You graduated. I feel like I graduated.
And I feel like too, like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like splitting projectors, like all of us can just like connect with the energy through our bodies, like. And I think that's right. That's the whole point of it, right? Yeah. That's the whole point of it. Like we're supposed to be able to make decisions right away, right? That's why it comes so quick. Yeah.
The whole in the moment thing, when you get that instant it's like magic. I just remember there'll be times when I will ask a question, I'll forget about the question I asked, and I'll be in the middle of doing something. Boom! I'm like, what? And it'll be something that I may have to post, and I realize I have to post it right then and there. Most times, there'll be times when I know
you're good.
Save it for later. There's time I save it for later for some time, but there's be times I'll be like, you gotta post this right now. Somebody needs it. Boom. And then I literally have somebody tell me, oh my God, I'm going through this. And I'm like, Spirit. So that's also me listening to Spirit.
Right. But that builds your, I feel like, relationship, like anything else, right? The more cultivate relationships, the more you pour into them, the more you nourish them, give them attention, they grow.
It does.
Yeah. Wow. Damn it. I was about to ask you a question too. And then I got excited about that.
I love this.
Yeah.
But before you go any further, thank you for even doing this. This is amazing that, the community building.
That people are enjoying it.
I love it.
But yeah, I'm like really excited for all this. And I was like really happy to hear like your story and your journey. And now a lot of it, like, I was watching through social media, but to hear you talk about it now, like it makes sense. Like, watching it, and I was like, okay, because I do believe that everybody is like showing the journey of themselves, right? Whether they mean to or not, with their words, the words they use. You can go to people. Oh, I do this to myself. I go to my old posts and I cringe at some of the words I used to use. I'm like, oh,
that was you discovering. That was your discovery part.
I mean, now I don't care because I'm like, oh, I love, because now I say that, right? Like, oh, I love that version of me. Like, yes, and she's still a part of me, of course. I'm like,
Of
I
course.
like the way I express. Because there are versions of like energies that I can't always tap into like I used to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that you know that, because it's like, it's true. You could just tap in and just like, and that's just what a what's the word I'm trying to say? Versatile. Yeah, I can't even say it
versatility. I think
versatility. Yes, that's when it comes in. That's when it comes in. And it's like you're able to tap into these different type of parts of you anytime you want.
But,
like, wow.
And I think it's beyond us, though.
So
I think that we can tap into any energy that we want.
Yes.
I really do believe it's possible. Yeah, I do. I think that we all can do it. But it goes back to like, do you have that level of awareness, right? And then it's like this whole trust and surrendering and letting go of this idea of what it should look like or what it has to look like. Especially someone like your gifts, right? When you're talking about channeling and all that, even having the confidence to say that, right, in the world, because it's like, you know, being in the spiritual community, it can sound like everybody, right? Because we all are connected, right? I really believe it.
But not everybody.
So,
I realize not everybody wants to make it. You don't have to like dabble into it if you don't want to. But not everybody is as vocal with it. I realize. Some of us are very vocal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or hesitant with the word uses, because it depends, right? Like, I think like when I think about psychics, right, this idea that people expect them to get the predictions correct, right, or that the predictions have to come true right away, right, and that's not the way energy works. And so I feel like a lot of times when we can get caught up in our egos, where we're like, I don't want to share this information, it's not going to resonate with nobody. When Spirit's telling you to do it, but you're like, no, because what if I'm wrong? And it's
that's
like,
what I'm on right now.
That ain't your business. If you're wrong, you ain't wrong.
Spirit telling you to do it, better do it.
And so, like, you, like, talking about how, like, you post it when they tell you to post it right now. And I'm like,
Thank you.
And it's like, it goes back to me. I be inspired by people because I don't listen like that. Like, and they know it. So, like, they have very low expectations of me, I'm sure.
Sometimes I be like, God, I'm ready. Just use me as a vessel. And I tell, because you know you gotta command Spirit, because they listen to you when you tell them. They don't like do your free will basically. So I like literally tell them. I tell them like, hey, just you could step in. I'm an empty vessel. I'm here to serve. Like I know my purpose. I know what I'm doing. And I want to do it.
So
I answer the call, you know?
What is your idea of purpose? Because I mentioned, you mentioned that earlier too. What is your belief about this concept of purpose?
My purpose is literally to be me and be free in that and live that out loud without a care, and love myself so much that my love overflows into the people around me, into the community, and we're like literally helping each other. Like I feel like a guide. I feel like a part of a big community that's helping something for the best, and I feel so grateful for that. I feel so grateful to be one of the ones that just said, I'm gonna do this. I feel good to just have that confidence enough and the bravery to do that, you know, because a lot of times, you know, when you choose this part of the stick, the light part is kind of like you attract the moth as well. So like, I feel like some people don't want to go that route because they're afraid of what it comes with, but it's kind of like, I already know I'm protected.
Yeah, I mean, but this other life ain't coming with nothing. Hello.
Listen,
like,
I'd rather this
other choice.
I don't
other option is just as fucking draining.
I've been there before. I said to myself, that's literally what I told myself. I said, what other choice? Because honestly, I experienced that. I didn't like what I experienced. How about we try something else? Because that right there wasn't it. Me living in lack mindset, it wasn't it for me. It didn't make me feel good. And I love to feel good. So let me feel good. Let me do that. And that was it. That was my choice. When I made that choice, I feel like everything just started coming, just started flowing for me. Everything just, you know, even the lessons I had to learn was flowing. I felt like everything was happening on the perfect timing. And that's what the
Is you're
perfect
letting
alignment is all
go.
about. Aligning yourself to where you feel like you want to be. Because everybody has their
Yeah.
own meaning of success or what they feel like is success.
Facts.
Like, I love to be happy. I feel like I'm already successful. That's how I feel. I'm successful,
Oh,
you know,
I
because
love
I
that for
feel I'm in
you.
the space, you
Yes.
know.
Yes, yes. And sometimes, right, I think, yeah. Even your definition of purpose, right? It's like really you're talking about like the expression, right? How you show up in this world, how you're being, you're being.
Mm-hmm.
You're just being.
Just
You're
being.
being.
Just,
Yeah, and I like love that. That's so exciting. And even
thank
like
you.
what you were saying earlier, just about like your platform and everything, just to like love that all over you. You know, those you're meant to talk to, you will connect with. And you already know that. And I really wanted to affirm that again for you. Like you are heard, you are seen, you are witnessed in all your beauty and all the things you are
Thank
creating, you
you.
will create. I'm really excited for you. I'm super grateful to have this conversation with
Me
you. I feel
too.
like there's so much we could have talked about. I'm
There's
sure
so
this probably
much
won't be the
more to
last
talk
time.
about, especially
Yeah, there's so
astrology.
much more to talk about. And just like, I appreciate you like sharing with me and with all of us, like your idea of what it means to show up for yourself. And I think that the main thing I heard and I really walked away from is like this level of awareness to make
Mm-hmm.
these choices and decisions. Because what
Mm-hmm.
you did was start making different decisions, new decisions, shifting your mindset. But all that can't happen until you have that awareness. So,
Yes,
for the most
yes,
part.
that is true.
So
I'm so
yeah,
thankful.
yeah, and I also want like you to tell everybody like what you're doing on your platform and like what your life is about and like how you're expressing and how and why they would connect. I also have another question before we go, but yeah.
Of course. So basically, my platform is called The Perfect Alignment. Woo
Hey,
woo.
we're
I
here.
also have a channel called I'm Shandy Love, where I literally just document everything, like my spiritual journey, my thought processes. If I have a message, I'll share it on there. I'm actually preparing for like it's more tarot, but divination like readings. Specifically, I'm preparing a channel just for that. So you may see me come up on your newsfeed one day with just married, just reading. So I'm excited about that. I'm gonna continue to post more, continue to build my community. I gonna continue to get creative with my jewelry. I
I
have
was
so
gonna
much more stuff
say.
coming up with the Perfect Alignment jewelry. It's just a list of things. I'm also working on another book, which I'm excited about. And in the near future, it will be a film. So, woo!
Hey, you better say that. And you heard it here first.
Yes, you
Period.
heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Okay,
Maybe
so
next.
I love this. Oh, this is so exciting. You do have things going on. I gotta keep that a picture. All right.
Thank you.
Hold on. What was my question? So I always ask people if you could tell a past version of yourself something, what would it be? But we're gonna come back to that. What's the favorite thing about yourself?
Oh my gosh, my ability to create anything out of thin air. I love that. I literally look around like my apartment and I'm like, I feel like I'm more grounded into that. Like I did this. Like there was one point I was like looking around. I'm like, I did this. Like I bought this couch and put it here and I fixed it and I decorated it and I made it my safe haven. And it's like I did that. And I look at other things that I've created out of like before it wasn't there. The beauty of creation. That just really the best thing about me. Like I love my ability to just put my vision with my hands and just create anything that I want. And I just look forward to continue to create. Like I look forward to that. Just continue creating, Shandy. As long as you have the eyes, the hands, the mind. I'm big on mental health. So the mind, as long as you have everything else going, continue creating. I love
Sorry,
that.
guys. If you guys saw me turn this way, I smell smoke, and I was like confused for a second because I'm like, where's smoke coming
Is
from?
it good
Sorry.
now? I don't want nothing.
Yeah, it's good now. It's good now. I had to
Maybe
like,
that was,
I had to
is that
smell.
spirit?
I had
Spirit,
to
is
know
that
what,
you? Stop.
what direction it was coming from. Let me tell y'all, noises, smells. I'm just like,
Yes,
something's up.
yes.
Something's up. So yeah,
Yep.
it's coming from. Yeah. I got nervous for a second. I had to look.
No,
Like,
I understand. I would be like that too. Like what? That'd be so. But yeah.
the stove is this way. Okay. Whew. And I ain't got no incense burning, so I was just like nervous for a second. Praise the
That's
Lord.
so funny. I had incense burning over here a little bit, but it stopped.
But yeah, so yeah. All right. So now I will ask you. All right. So you can you love creating things out of thin air. And I think, like, even as you're talking about your apartment, right, like, that gives you, like, a blank canvas. I'm very big on interior decorating. I don't know where I get it from, but I'm, like, very big on, like, energy within your home and making your home spacious and making it, like, perfect for you. Like, I'm very big on environment.
Me too.
So, you know, as you were decorating your apartment, I'm sure you saw me commenting everywhere because I just get excited. Like, oh, yes.
I think I remember that. Oh, my God. I do remember that.
I'm like that. That's very me.
I love it.
Yeah, that's very me. I love it. I'm obsessed. I wish I had a job in it. Maybe. I'm not sure. Working on it.
You never know. You never know.
I know.
You got a long life to live.
I've lived a lot of lives already, so don't mind adding another one. Okay, so yes. So if you could tell any past version of yourself, anything, what would you say?
I would say you do have the power. Like you do have the ability to create your own life. Because there was a point where I did not believe I did. I felt as if, and also, you deserve to live a good life. Because there was also a point where I felt like I was meant to stay, like my story was stuck in one place. Like I wanted certain things, like I knew I wanted certain things, but it's kind of like my fear of getting them and feeling during like taking the path to get it. My inability to get it it kept me stuck in one place for a very long time. It was very limiting. So I would tell myself, like, you're worthy of great things. You deserve great things, and you have the ability to have these great things.
Wait, so were you afraid that you wouldn't get what you were asking for, or you were just afraid to have it?
Both of them.
Okay.
It was both of them. So
like,
imagine both of them. Like there was a point where I was like, okay.
It can
at one point I was like, okay, I'm gonna still go and get it, even though I'm scared. But then as I'm going to get it, I'm like, oh my God, is it really happening? Almost about to run because I'm afraid of it. Like what?
Yeah.
So that was a lot to get over too.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a self-sabotage. That's when self-sabotage happens. We don't even know it's happening, right? Until we have that awareness. A lot of times we're doing a lot of things, cycles that we aren't even aware yet until, you know, it hits our awareness, and then we can actually do something about it.
Thank God for awareness.
Yeah, so that's really what it is, right? You start self-sabotaging, not knowing why, blaming everything outside of you. Like, no, this is the way the world is. Things never work out for me, and it's like,
yes, that was really me. That was
happening?
Me. Victim mode, it was bad.
And that's the other thing, right? The victim mode. And you know what? Like, one thing I do say about victim mode too, and I always caution people to be careful, even when you're in therapy, because I do remember my therapist helping me stay in victim mode, feeding that back to me, telling me that I should be feeling these ways, that this is okay. And though it's not bad to feel what I was feeling, but there was other ways for me to look at it. You know what I mean? It wasn't, and what she was reiterating oftentimes is just what society would say, right? Oh, like all these expectations we have on people because of titles, whether that's your mother, your sister, your brother, right? You have expectations of them just because there's a title or a role they play in your life, even if they don't have the tools necessary to actually be in that role, right? Or to do that role in a way that society says. And so it was always interesting, and I always caution people to like trust yourself for that reason, even in your therapy sessions, even when you're talking to spiritual guides. It doesn't matter who you're talking to.
You still have to go back to you.
You always have to have discernment. You
still gotta show up for yourself.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what people are pouring into you, because sometimes that can keep you in your cycle a little longer than you need to be.
You have to have the level of
discernment. Yeah, I don't want to even say need to be, because I believe that wherever you are, you're meant to be, because apparently your soul needs it.
Yeah, like there was a time when I knew where I wanted to go, but I also had to be honest with myself where I am, and I wanted to purposely take my time, because I wanted to experience everything for what it was while I was still there. And I'm happy I took my time, because as I took my time, I learned so much. And I asked myself, like, honestly, if I had rushed the process, I would have missed certain things, you know? So they really said it's the journey that matters. And it's true, the journey. So right now, as I realize the journey that matters, I am soaking in this journey up and I'm just having fun with it. I'm going along with it. I'm like, yes, God, more. I like that. So give me more. And I'm just like, you know,
more of that.
I'm getting
and it
more.
gets better. Yes, and it gets better, and it stays abundant. All the things, like whatever you want your world to look like.
Exactly.
It's possible. But like you said, you wrote all of this. Everything you're living, you wrote out, and now it is your truth.
It did, yeah.
And I even posted about that earlier, right? What you're praying for is coming. You're gonna see what you're praying for.
You are.
Because I really do believe in that. Writing it down, doing, just speaking. I even think speaking to spirit, whatever you believe in, vision boards, all those things help. Like, trust your path, though. Like, trust your path, because, like, yeah, we're all going to the same destination. We can take different paths there. Like, there's just not one path. And so,
some people take shortcuts. Some people take the long.
Oh, yeah, because you were talking about you didn't want to miss part of, like, I don't know about miss, but you know what I mean? Like, you wanted to.
I knew, like, I was more honest with myself in a way where it's just like I knew I was still afraid about certain things, and I purposely just like stayed within certain places just because I wanted to take my time, you know?
I love that. I love it for you, because I was the opposite.
No, sir. You like, I gotta get the fuck out.
Yo,
I gotta go.
When I first got in this after the big awakening, right, on this journey, and I've always been on some aspect of it, but like really deep in it. I wanted to rush things. I thought there was a destination. I don't know where. I wanted to get there. And when I realized, because you can get on this journny and get real.
No, it's true. When you get what you want, you're gonna always want more.
Right, but too much of anything, remember I said earlier, too much of anything can be detrimental. And for me, it was that idea of healing, right? Like that. Now I'm addicted to this idea of healing. Like, what? And I'm getting somewhere, and I'm trying to rush to this destination of healed. What? Yeah, and it just, it wasn't pretty.
I get it. No,
it was worth it.
Yeah, and it was worth it. But look at where you at right now. It's kind of like, okay, maybe I did need to like go through that a little bit.
Yeah, and that's why I said earlier, I guess I had to pull back, because I was like, wait, I do believe that wherever you are, whatever you experience, you're meant to. For me, I'm meant to. Like, there has never been a time that I looked back and was like, that was a waste of time. I might say it out of just ego and anger and annoyance. If it was like, I was like, that was a waste. But I know it wasn't. It never really was, right?
I'm not gonna lie.
It just slowed me down.
I'm not gonna lie. I look back and I'd be like, at least I had fun. I'm not gonna lie. Ignorance is really bliss. I'm not gonna Ignorance is bliss.
At least I had fun. That's
I was having so much fun. I was exploring life, but now like I'm aware there's certain things that I just don't want to do anymore, because I'm just like, I know that's not the route I want to go, and I know what's gonna make me feel good, and I want to do things that make me feel good. So it's like, looking back, I'm like, wow, when I didn't know, it was just like I was out here just in the jungle, just in the wild, like just like, you know,
but do you ever feel like, having had your experience the way you have, looking back, what do you think about all of that, right? Like, looking back at where you are now, and now when you see other people living their lives, does it help you to have more compassion, empathy? Like, what do you?
It does.
Do you feel like?
Absolutely. I feel like I personally experienced what I experienced to have the compassion. I feel like I had not experienced those things, I probably wouldn't have the ability to hold space for other people that are going through what I used to go through. There are a lot of people that I communicate with that they find themselves where I was years ago, and I'm like, wow, this is so surreal, because in a way it's just like, I literally know what this is. And being a projector, I know when not to tell them. I know where they are based off how I feel and the conversation we're having. I know what part of the journey they are on, and I just know when to be like, I know when to listen. I could be a listening friend, but I know when to just not do too much, because I just know it's not going to be received that way, and I know what will be, because it's a feeling thing.
Yeah,
I know when they're ready.
Yourself. Yeah. And that's like the best thing you can do, because you also want people to feel safe and comfortable and warm enough, right, to come to you. And at the same time, that's like.
And honestly, I also, there are times when, because I found myself doing it recently, like when I would just not purposely make you feel uncomfortable, but if I feel called to say something, I'm gonna say it with like affirmative, like I'm being affirmative with it, and my voice may be very strong when I say it, so it may make you feel off a bit, but I know my intent. I know what I'm saying. I'm saying this to put a spark in you. You may receive it as, why is she being mean or rude? But it's just like, if I feel called to say this message right now to you right now in this way, I'm just gonna do that. You know, so it's also like a balance thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, but that all boils down to like our expression, right? Like everybody's gonna do things the way they're gonna do it, and I think there's always gonna be somebody saying that you could have done it differently, and they are right. They are right or wrong, right? You could have done it differently, like in that sense, right? Like there was probably a different way, but that's not the way you did it. Like, and that's what I tell people all the time. It's like I'd be like, yeah, you're right. I could have done it another way, but I didn't. I did it this way. So like, let's focus on my behavior now.
No, seriously, because I do, like, I make sure, like, my delivery is great, but when I'm passionate and I'm in the moment, who knows how it may come out, you know, in that moment, because I'm full of so much passion about the topic. We don't know. We never know. So it's like having compassion for that, too. And I give others that compassion based on how I yeah.
But that's, I think, I think I posted earlier how I've been watching Love Island UK. And so, you know, I love analyzing people's behavior. And like one thing I recognize and notice is just like that, right? Like, you know, everybody's expressing differently. Yes, there's a million ways that somebody could have did something, but, you know, we're all making our choices from our own makeup, right? That's your background, how you were raised, what your beliefs are now, what you value. There's a ton of things that in the environment too, right? Because me and you may be like real cool right now, right? But we might get in a space that's already dense, and it might bring out a side of us that we never even
seen
right?
before. Yeah,
right. And it doesn't mean like you're being fake or something's wrong, but like, you know, that's also in you. And I think that like we don't honor enough that there's so much inside each and every one of us, right? There's so much in us. And that you don't know what version of the person you might get that you've never seen before. And that doesn't mean they're being fake. It doesn't mean this. That's all a part of who they are. The same way that side effects are part of that medication. Okay.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But your people will take you all parts of yourself. You will know. You will know. Yeah. So it's kind of like, as long as, and it reflects what you do. So do you accept all parts of yourself? Do you love yourself unconditionally, or is it based on conditions? And your relationship's going to reflect that back onto you too. So it's kind of like, we're on a journey. We'll see.
And that season of you, the season of showing up for yourself, is definitely like such an interesting one. And I think that like it's not even a season, right? Like you said, it's a lifestyle. Because I do believe that like part of self-care, self-love, soul care, all those cares, wellness, part of that is like you got to show up for yourself, like not pouring from empty cups, right? And the only way to not pour from an empty cup is to fill your own cup first. And so so I thank you for saying yes to yourself, because I know that the work that you're doing within you, you're also helping the collective, and together we're all doing that much better, right? We're all vibrating higher because of the work you're doing for you and how that pours back out to the rest of us, right? And your kindness and your forgiveness and your gentleness and your soft life, okay? And your loving yourself and all the things, everything that you're doing for yourself, to just love on yourself, we're also benefiting from. So I give thanks for that.
Thank you so much for even considering having me here. I had so much fun having this conversation with you. You created such a safe space. You made me feel so comfortable, and I appreciate you times 10 for that.
Thank you. I'm so happy that people are saying yes to me. It's like, I'm like a kid in a candy store right now. This is like my dream life. And I can do it live. I don't like to edit, so that's why I don't like podcasts. Not that I have to edit podcasts and YouTube. Listen. Y'all, this is who I am.
Trust me, that's why my other content for YouTube, I'm gonna have a ball with that, because all I'm gonna do is press upload, no editing. It's a lot. It's a lot for real. It's a lot.
So
I take like 3 to 5 days to edit one video, and I don't care about it. I'm unapologetic about it, because I need my sleep.
Oh, I totally agree. But I think that whatever you post, like, people are gonna enjoy it, and you're very conversationalist when you talk, right? So like your videos are very like, we're hanging out, we're homegirls, we're kiki, and we, you know, you put your makeup on while you talking to me, or while you talking to me, right? Like those are that's how your content is. So
thank you.
Fuck all that editing stuff. No, listen to me, because I'm just lazy. I love you all. know. But thank you guys for hanging out tonight. By the way, my bedtime is 9:30, so I'm an hour away.
Yes! Thank you
So
so much, guys, for watching. Thank you, Charliie, for being
Thank you,
who you
everyone.
are.
And thank you for those who will watch the replay, because I know we on here a while. I love you, Shandy. I'm so grateful for you. Again, she is an astrology queen. Please check it out. And all the things. She's a Jane of all trades. So you can see the jury too. There's intentional jury. There's zodiac sign nose ring.
Yes, I'm gonna have more. I'm gonna do some more additions. It's gonna be a surprise. I cannot wait. I'm gonna add some extraness to this beautiful, beautiful brand that I'm building. So stay tuned for all the great things.
And you're doing stuff with. You said you're gonna do some things with tarot and astrology together, right?
Yes, I'm gonna do that. Like pure content on that. I'm gonna create another channel just specifically for that, because I'm mostly vlogging on this one and just like have my friends on it and everything. The other one is gonna be separate, only literally just for the readings, and I'm gonna do like community readings, channel readings, and stuff like that. So just get this thing on the road.
I love your confidence too in sharing the messages and sharing, like listening to your spirit. Okay, you might. I feel like you just inspired me. Girl, listen to them more. I think you might have just did that, because now I'm also thinking about that message they told me to send yesterday that I still ain't sent to the person. So I was like,
I'm gonna leave you with this, right? Do this challenge for yourself. The minute you get the message to do something, do it before you let your human mind tell you not to. Just post it. Do it.
For sure.
The only way you don't do it is if you're doing something and you can't do right now. I get that. But if you are literally free, post.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Do it.
Girl. Yeah. I was busy.
Take the video.
I was trying to keep it in my mind, and then my phone wasn't there. It left. I was like, I don't like the wording. So I just like left it alone. I was like, I don't like the wording I got right now.
Do it. Because you don't know who may have, you probably don't like the wording, but somebody else probably see that.
No, it's for a specific person. That's the thing. So I know. We'll see. I'll do it right now. It is now that we talked about it at this point.
Yes.
But yeah, I appreciate you so much. But I was just saying that to say, like, it's stuff like this that inspires me. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give myself that challenge, because I love to challenge myself. So I'm gonna challenge myself.
Yes.
Like every message I get, I'm gonna
just do it. Just do it
as I'm told, as I'm guided.
Yes, I'm happy for you. I cannot wait. I can't wait to even just see it and experience and witness that. So I'm excited.
Yes. So is there anything else you want to leave us with? Any message, any affirmation, any invitations, any other things?
I think the last thing I want to say is what I've been big on recently is basically wealth being a mind concept. Things come to me for me to start focusing on, and I think mainly it's because it's something that I have to learn too. That's when it becomes like the focal point in my life. But it's like basically training the mind to stray away from looking at wealth as a one-dimensional thing. It's very like right now I feel like a millionaire talking to you. You know, like you're giving me gems, I'm giving you gems. This is what we're doing, you know, and that to me is huge. And that's a way you could say that's wealth. And just looking at different forms of that wealth. Create your own success. Create your own success. So that's basically what I'm gonna leave you guys on. Go after this, create your own success. Show up for yourself and create your own wealth. And
I'm write it
as long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
Your own success. Yeah.
Create your own success. That's all that matters.
That's gonna be the message I share. Yeah, I agree. And success is different for everybody. Love that for us. Nice. And I'm also gonna message you because I feel like I have been reading books about wealth actually too. So I will send them over.
Please do, because I feel like that's literally the theme right now. It's coming up.
Yeah, I'll send it over. Yeah. And it's delicious. It's delicious. And it will shift. Yeah, I think that's why I've been giggling even more, I think. Like whatever it did to my DNA. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm a lot more free. I'm like, all right. But yeah, I'm so happy to see you happy and enjoying life and realizing that this shit is fun. And it is like a game, right? And when you let go and stop taking it so seriously. Because like, yes, there are serious things to be serious about, but like, really.
Yeah, honestly,
the
one thing that ends up coming to me is just the fact that when I leave here, I'm taking the way my spirit is coming with me, my soul's coming with me. So it's kind of like everything else outside of me doesn't even matter. So the things I gain, the things I learn, the wisdom I take, I'm taking all that with me. And I'm like, wait, I feel accomplished already because just to be aware, I feel accomplished, you know, just to have the awareness.
You're so matured. You're so matured to something.
Thank
right?
you.
You're so matured, right? Like awareness alone is something. Like
that's it. That's it. And it's all about how you view it. So that's why I'm able to sit here and talk to you, you know?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. This feels good. I'm super excited this happened. And I learned that you're a projector.
I'm excited too. I love meeting other projectors because it could be a lonely road, okay? It could feel like, damn, how long I gotta wait? And thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, right.
From projector to projector.
We were inviting each other to things. I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. But yes, I adore you. I love you. I am grateful for you. I pray that you have a restorative evening. And everyone else who's on here, I appreciate
and whoever stayed to watch this, thank you.
Yes, thank you for hanging out with us.
We was here for a while, so thank you so much.
We are. And every one of these episodes will be different because it will depend on the other person's energy, right? So you'll get to witness that as well. You'll see me in different energy depending on who the guest is. Because I can kind of mesh with them. You know, some people are more serious than others. We're more like,
I mean, we're fire signs and we're both projectors, so it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense. I get it.
Yeah, so just to let you all know, next week, Thursday, I will be on with Eddie at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My Taurus friend. Yay!
He's a Taurus.
I'm pretty sure Taurus.
They're so grounded. Very grounded energy.
Yeah, so it's gonna ground. So exactly, and it will ground me.
Yeah, we right here being firecrackers. Next week they're gonna be like.
And I feel grounded now, but like, you know what I mean. I won't be all like.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Maybe not. You never know though. I don't know. We'll see.
You never know.
But I will tell you. Yeah, no promises, but I will tell you that you'll see my energy different depending on who the guest is, probably. But we tested this out.
I can't wait to tune in.
I never done this before.
It's just the first. Remember, trial and error.
Yeah, but that's what I'm excited for. I do think my energy will change. So this is an experiment I'm doing out loud. So I am experimenting with how I behave around other energies. So you guys will be on a journey with me. You folks will be on a journey with me. So I just decided that.
I'm so happy to be a part of it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, you're gonna be part of our history. All right, I'm getting off here, y'all. I love y'all. I will keep talking. I love it here. I just do. It's just easy. All right.
Good night, guys. Good night, baby girl.
Bye, guys. Bye,
thank you so much.
See you next week. Yes, and thank you.